Okay. So it's 3 o'clock now, right, folks? What should we do, Nick?
Beth, let's just give it 2 more minutes. There's more people joining.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see some new faces. Hey, everybody. I know who these people are. Just got back from Chicago. The class went very, very well. A lot of people who are currently using our products were there. Some new people were there. I saw the total eclipse of the sun. It was sunny and clear. And a lot of interesting people in class. Some people who've been coming to me. One lady came from California and another from Colorado.
I'm trying to get Aaron from Colorado to go to Bend for the advanced class.
That's going to be a barbecue, a hike in the woods, and a very intense. It's for advanced people because you're going to do a color path with me. It's for somebody who really wants to do. It'll be fun.
Yeah, and she's terrific.
Yeah, and with they're going to take a before and after and explain their voyage with me. It'll be fun.
Good.
All right. Well, it's 3:02.
Lots of people are coming.
People are going to continue to join as we get going here. Let's go ahead and get started. Beth and Annie, I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to let you guys kind of take the conversation from here. If anybody wants to ask a question for Beth and or Annie to answer, please put that in the chat and I'll make sure to relay that over to them. Yeah. But otherwise, you two can go ahead and kind of take it from here.
Are you going to introduce us, or is Annie?
I think it's probably best. So probably best for Annie to go ahead to introduce Beth, and Annie, introduce yourself as well. And I'll just keep admitting people as they join the meeting. So go ahead and take it from here.
All right. Well, hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ann Ballantyne from the Beecher Group in Artego, USA. And Beth does not need a whole lot of introduction. I think the whole world knows who she is, but we have the wonderful, fantastic redhead Beth Minardi with us today to answer any of your questions on color or on beauty fusion.
Thank you. And I think what we wanted to start today too was, a lot of people, Annie, always ask about how to handle and do color changes without freaking out the customer and with being able to overpromise or underpromise and overdeliver. And right. I think I see some of my advanced buddies on this incredible program, so they know color changes really start with the desk and with the phone call, especially with new clients, because I had a lady the other day in the salon booked me for a single process color, and the woman had been to 2 salons in Houston, and it was a huge transformation. It was a huge correction, and I didn't know about that. So for all of us, the thing about a color change is, if it's an existing client, you can have a pretty clear conversation. You know one another. You and she understand one another, likes, dislikes, what's going on in her life. A new person might be coming to you because the salon she's been going to couldn't do it or wouldn't do it. And I've asked other women in New York in my salon, why are you coming to me? And they said, well, I've been going to the same salon for a long time and I thought I needed a change, but they never brought it up. So I figured they weren't interested, right? It's, oh, you're here for, yeah, you want me to do your roots. Doing your roots are the 3 worst words we can use. There are a few worse, but I can't say them here online. Just, I'll do your roots. Come on, sit down. No, that degrades us. So you need to know about time. And if you see, the conversation, then if they're new, cannot be rushed and cannot be with you standing, looking at them in the mirror, combing their hair and looking while you're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be late for the next person. That person has to feel I'm in the right place. They have to see you looking them straight in the eye, seated with them, and a conversation. At Buddy's salon in the Boston area where I love to go, he has a little area where he just sits with them. And at the famous Leslie Blanchard years ago in New York City, Leslie would take them into his little office that had a French writing desk, fresh flowers, an oriental rug. He'd close the door, and for 10 minutes, and he only did it for 10 minutes, he was all yours. If after 10 minutes you were ringing around the rosy, pocket full of posy, then it wasn't the day. I give 15 minutes. Yeah, bye-bye. It's another time. But so that first importance is very important. And I love it when they bring
Valentine, I
pictures.
just texted you. My husband is at the house waiting.
Oh, Annie's off the line for a second. Okay.
Thank you.
So, when you talk to them, some of the changes are very, very simple. Some of them actually, I will change the hair shaft and the hair lengths without really changing the root. Because when they look in that mirror and they part the hair and they see a change in the root, a global change, it can sometimes be upsetting. So with a new client, what we want to do, the best thing I love is when they bring pictures, not black and white pictures, pictures. And the thing that, years ago we had supermodels and
Shaw's
models
on its way, honey, so.
on magazines. Now we have celebrities, and a lot of the celebrities have good hair, and some of the celebrities do not have good hair. But it gives us if she takes a picture of a certain person, we kind of know where she's going. I think in my classes I've explained, I had years ago a picture where Joan Rivers was on the cover of Vogue, and a woman wanted to be a soft golden blonde. And I said, well, what do you think about this? And she said, well, everybody knows Joan Rivers is a redhead. So what they might say is camel or beige or champagne or russet or auburn or scarlet or chocolate or ash. That gives us a little bit of a feeling, but it's not exact. So I don't use swatches because swatches, we will never match a swatch. Swatches are not made of human hair. They're made of monocrylic fiber, but we talk. And so I do say to them, okay, here's what we're able to do today. This is your target. We can get you pretty close to your target today, or we can take you step by step based on time, based on budget, and based on personality. And sometimes the first thing that has to happen in a color change is a haircut. Because if their hair is down 6 inches below the shoulder, and 3 inches of that is like torched, burned off, fire, there's nothing you can do. And when they think that's beautiful, it's not, and it's a whole other conversation. So color changes, it's time, it's conversation, it's knowing that you have everything. And let's put this in your dispensary. Make sure you have, number one, a base breaker or gentle color remover. Number two, a selection of on and off scalp bleaches. If you're a Beth Minardi person, you know, I do not use powder lightener on the scalp. I use cream. This is up to you, but I prefer cream. You need a great permanent shade of color, line of color that you believe in. You need an alkaline, more opaque demi and an acidic liquid 5-volume no lift demi. And of course you need the proper shampoos and conditioners, which we could have a ball with. And this is only a 1-hour event. So make sure you have everything and then explain. I tell them what I'm going to do. When I'm doing it, I tell them what I'm doing. And when I've finished applying it, I tell them what I've just done. I put the timer in front of them. I don't use my telephone. I have it in my pocket, but I put a timer in front of them and I'll say, I'm watching you every minute. I'm going to go to the back, but I'm right here with you. I make sure the chair is unlocked. I make sure she's caped and draped. I do the application. And sometimes color changes do not start at the root at all. They start at the hair lengths. Some corrections begin at the root. Most begin on the lengths. It depends. Going lighter, it poses its own issues. Going darker can be done easily, but we must be doing it carefully. And I'm wondering if there are any questions at this point, or if I should still keep going, Annie.
No questions yet, just,
And how many of our wonderful friends have signed on?
I don't know. I don't see that.
We
Okay.
have about 30 people in right now.
Okay, 30.
We have
and
100 and some signed up.
We're expecting 100. Okay. Well, okay. So anyway, they can always replay this, but okay. So yes, some corrections. Now, here's something that most of us are facing now, particularly with people with fashion color or hair that at a certain point in their life, most women, this is just taste, and taste is a matter of whatever. Most women at a certain point in life do not look their best with super dark hair, whether it's black, burgundy, chocolate, dark ash brown, green. purple, whatever. But if that's their choice, that's their choice. Sometimes they've been doing this forever and then they say to themselves, you know what, this is not working anymore. Brilliant, vivacious, dark color on anybody works best when, and I'm going to be real honest with you guys, the complexion is the key to everything. A great complexion, not a wrinkled, sagging face. Sorry, guys, an eye job, blepharoplasty, a facelift, a tight neck. And if she's got to rock the look. If she wants dark with it hair or she wants a fashion shade, she better be rocking the look. She better wear makeup. She better wear trendy clothes. I don't want to see anybody with a mermaid hair wearing a Lily Pulitzer puff sleeve dress with Birkenstocks. It does not work. The personality has to go together. You know, wearing an Alexander McQueen jacket with Ralph Lauren pants doesn't work, you know? So it's a feeling. And that feeling you get is when you sit with that client and before she's caped and draped, look at her eyes, look at the kind of glasses she wears, look at her handbag, look at her nails, look at her shoes, look at her belt, look at her overall appearance. Who does she think she is? And that's what we have to go with. Who does she think she is? And she might feel bad about herself, but we can always find something pretty to play up or to just talk to her. And sometimes people I've had women who want to change their hair color, and I did it for myself for a while. When you're out in a relationship that goes off, sometimes you just want to look different, and it's okay, but it requires talking, a little hand holding, etc. So let's talk about what I call color extraction. And Annie, that's something I think we should talk about on the Beecher site. I'm going to be putting it up on the Beth Minardi stuff. A lot of you are members of my Facebook group, which is free. 5,000 colorists from all over the world are members. We have people in Dubai, Russia, Japan, Colorado, Arizona, you name it, India, and Italy, they all want to know about color. That's free, and it's called Conversations with Top Color Professionals by Beth Minardi. The Artego site is wonderful, and I have a $2.08 a month website called Beth Minardi All Access, where we go really deep. So let's talk about color extraction. When you have a woman whose hair is chin length or down to the floor, which we're going to cut first, we're going to do a color extraction, and that will tell us exactly how far we can go today. What I like to do is take one nice strand of hair, I slice it, and what I do, Annie, especially when the hair's been dyed black, chocolate, burgundy, or one of those fashion tones or whatever, I like to feel the hair, and as most of my advanced users on this group know, when you feel the hair, you kind of know what's going on. I identify the hair as zones 1, 2, 3, and 4. Zone 4 of the hair is self-cutting. Zone 3, if you think the stuff that just grew out of the head is the same as the stuff on the tips, it's completely different fiber. But supposing a woman comes in with very, very, very dark hair, and she wants to go lighter. Remember this, when a woman has black hair and you lighten it to brown, she'll think those brown streaks are red. She will, because everything is warmer than black. But here's what you need to do. Tell her we're going to do a color extraction, and there's no charge for this. In a bowl, I want you to mix your favorite powder lightener and 40 volume developer as a nice gooey paste. Don't make it too thick so that it's dry. Keep it gooey. And I don't need you to apply that. I would need you to piece of foil or a mesh. And I need you to start maybe a ½ inch away. And I want you to thoroughly coat that entire hair shaft, top and bottom, saturate it with the bleach mixture and wrap it up. I want you to set a timer for 20 minutes. Give her a beverage, a magazine, turn on a TV, let her watch her phone, whatever. But tell her you're watching her. After 20 minutes, you open that foil and you're going to see a history, which I call a hairstory. You're going to see just how much you're able to move out of that hair in 20 minutes. Now, if nothing happens, or if almost nothing happens, and you're still looking at really dark hair, you've got a situation. You can say, you know what, let's saturate, let this and leave it on 10 more minutes just to satisfy her. In most cases, when you rinse it and you show it, you dry it and you show it to her, you can say, this is what we're dealing with. Years ago, other people make really strong dye solvents. L'Oreal made one for years. Schwarzkopf made one that called Modulant that was, but you would have a nosebleed at the sink. And I don't like those. What I then do, and I love doing this, is most of the time, the worst thing that it'll be pretty good if you get a yellow at the root and a gold through the ends with maybe a touch of orange at the tips. Okay. That tells you there's hope for this and that she can be taken a little lighter today. But the hair has to be, if she wants to be a lighter brown with no red in it, that hair needs to be, and I would not try to do this globally. Trying to do this all over the head in one day, 4 hours, you will hate yourself, you'll hate living, you'll hate the client, you'll hate the world. And you'll hate it that she doesn't want to pay. My recommendation on this first visit, when you're doing an extraction, it's like a tooth extraction, okay? What you're doing is, I want you to part her, let her show you where she likes to part her hair. And particularly around the face, which I demonstrated the other day in Chicago with short mesh. I did almost back-to-back hairline, little tiny angel lights all around the face with powder and 40. And I then went behind and zigzagged. So that first 1.5 inches at the part and around, we're going to lighten in strands. Okay. Then when that light, and we have to watch it, in these kind of cases, I might put them under a rolling heat source, not a hair dryer that blows, in the name of God. I like a roller ball, or whatever rotating heat source you like. And about every 15 minutes, I check them. And I also pull on one of the foils to make sure it doesn't come off in my hand. I don't let that happen. And then what I do is when they're taken, let's supposing they want to be a lighter brown, I take them to golden. I rinse the hair till the water runs crystal clear. I love to use the Hydra shampoo by
Rain
Red Dance. I love that Hydra. I also love, for the most beat up hair in the world, the Vieso that we sell called Argan Oil. I shampoo it with that. I lightly condition them. And I love the new Hydra Boost by Rain Dance in a jar. There's no weight. It's like a miracle. Annie, you don't even need to leave it in 2 minutes. It detangles them. It closes that cuticle.
Awesome.
Then I don't let them, I dry that hair in the front 80% before I glaze it. And I'm going to say, don't worry, the hair in the front looks like a taxi cab or a school bus. I'm not going home. We're not finished. I then apply a liquid acidic demi like Beauty Fusion, which I mix with equal parts of 5 volume oxy milk. And a good one for that is really nice. It's equal parts of our 8.0 with 6.34. So we're making a level 7, Annie. And 7s, they grab a little darker on pre-lightened hair. And I apply that first to the roots, make sure all the roots are covered, and then bring onto the mids and ends. And with no heat, I allow that to process for 15, 18 minutes. And then I rinse very carefully, lightly shampoo, condition, and blow it dry. Usually they're very happy. Very happy. And if we're really brave and the hair's in great shape, we can do some more on that part line through the crown. I wouldn't work the whole head, but I might work today that part line through the crown. 3 or 4 weeks later, she's going to come back. We're going to sort of repeat what's missing around the front and take the next section back. And we are transitioning her. The more time you have, the bigger her budget. You can do most of it in one day. You do need an assistant with you. That's not a shampoo person. An assistant is someone who stands with you, hands you the foil, mixes things, sets the timer. And if you work alone, you just have to do this. And don't kick yourself in the face. Do it bit by bit by bit and tell them why. And do not ever let them leave wet. The hair has to be blown dry. Because when they leave wet, they have no idea what the hair really looks like. For those who are, when they're lightened, who fear brassiness, there are 2 things to do, one of which is really inexpensive, and it works great. Artego makes a shampoo called Blue by Good Society. And whenever they shampoo with that blue is the coolest thing on the color wheel, not green. Blue kills brass, okay? We also have an at-home conditioner that's a wonderful conditioner, that's a blue conditioner called Lola Blueberry. And I wish the name were like cloud or sky because people think blueberry is dark blue. It's pale and it's just a toner. Does that help anybody, or does anybody have a questione?
Nobody's popped up yet. You guys, if you have any, put them in the chat and we'll read them to Beth.
Yeah, and then tomorrow they'll ask me a question that I answered today, but that's the
Yeah.
way it usually goes.
Always.
I did have a woman ask me just online the other day, you know, Beth, you always say that when we're removing lightener that or color, we need to rinse the hair until the water runs clear. And I don't know why, because I have staff members who just wet the hair and start putting shampoo on. Well,
Somebody didn't get the formula. Do you want to repeat that? The 80 and the 634.
after I pre-lighten the strands to yellow, which is the color of a lemon, it's the color of a lemon. It's not orange. When the hair reaches a golden yellow stage, what I do is thoroughly rinse, shampoo, and very lightly condition the hair. And with the towel and then with the dryer, I don't do this at the sink. I glaze them in the chair. I mix 1 ounce of Beauty Fusion, 8.0, which is an 8 neutral, with 1 ounce of 634, which is a level 6 golden copper. Don't be worried about the copper. The copper twists so that you don't grab too greeny, okay, on a tint back on porous hair with that 8.0, which is a nice neutral cool. You're creating a level 7 formula with Beauty Fusion. 1 ounce of 8.0, 1 ounce of 6.34, and 2 ounces of 5-volume oxy milk. Can you use the 5-volume developer you have in the salon? Yeah. Will it turn out as great? No, because oxy milk is loaded with squalane, which is a moisturizer. A lot of the shine in Beauty Fusion is in the bottle of Beauty Fusion that has no MEA or PPD. The other part of the shine is in the developer, okay? Did that help the lady, Annie?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So let's go into where we are in this business right now and what scares me and what scares. I had a wonderful group in Chicago. In New York State, we have to go to school for 1,100 hours. We're in Florida, where I was licensed originally 1,200. We had license renewal offered where they got hours to attend my class in Chicago. And what surprised me was a lot of people weren't that interested in renewing their hours for $30 for six, whatever. I guess they'd already renewed. But the interesting thing is, there's a lovely young woman who works where I'm seeing clients here in Houston right now. She's a little genius, just got out of high school. And I said, how many hours did you go to school? And she said, we had 1,000 hours. And I said, how many hours did you spend on hair color? And she stared at me. And she goes, maybe an hour. There was no discussion about, now in their Milady books, there's some discussion, but sadly in the Milady books, a lot of the information was relevant and current about 12 years ago. And remember, our wonderful state boards do one thing. They help us pass the state board. My dream is to open a school called Postgraduate Studies in Hair Color, where after you graduate, you can spend a day, a week, or a month with me and with other nifty colorists who are passionate and walk out of there knowing how to do everything. I say make them killers. Here's what a killer can do. A killer knows that no matter who walks through that door, they can do it. Whether they have to say, here's what you have to do before we can change it, or here's what we can accomplish today, and here's what you can do at home until you see me the next time. And let's talk about you and your lifestyle and the length you can wear and the length that you're most comfortable with, shades you love, shades you don't love, all that kind of stuff. So that's the dream. And so what worries me is when I was even teaching in Chicago, and Buddy's been with me, and Annie, so have you. People, okay, the easiest, it is not true. It is not true what I'm going to say next. Everybody's taught in beauty school, and this came from Mr. Arnie Miller 30 years ago, walking out of the International Beauty Show in New York. I had just helped launch Logic, so it was like 35 years ago. And he was talking to me about work, and I said, I'm really happy where I'm working, thank you, and good luck to you. And he said, listen, you people at Clairol are never going to teach people what the way you try to teach. Just tell them this. I said, what? He goes, if they want to lift one level, 10 volume. If you want to lift two levels, 20 volume. And I said, yeah, but that doesn't really. He said, don't worry, it'll work. You're going to sell a lot more hair color. No. And I wrote this on the board. I wish I had a visual to show you. And it was on the board, and I'll post it tonight on my Facebook group page. On a sheet of paper, here's what the colorist writes down. The first thing. Here's what they don't teach you in beauty school. They teach you to look at Annie's hair, Annie's on the line with it. They look at Beth's hair. What's Beth's level? That's not the right question. The right question is, what's the level of Beth's roots, of the natural hair? They don't say that. Neither does the box color, which is by the way, box color is just the same as we use in the salon. It's a different fragrance and you can't intermix it. Okay. The first question should be, look at your client's roots. What's the level and tone of the hair that just grew out of the head? That's their roots. Write that level down. It might be level 3, 4, 5 with 10% gray, no percent gray, 90% gray. Is everybody with me? That's question 1. Question 2, what level of color, I don't want to hear about developer. What level of formula are you going to apply to this person? That's question 2. So let's say she is a level 3. We think we're going to apply a level 6 to her. So write down 6. Add together the natural level that just grew out of her head, 3, plus the level of the formula you're going to use, 6.
9.
3 plus 6 is 9. Divided by 2, 4.5. She's got. Why do people think she's a level 3? I'm using a level 9. I'm going to get her to a level 9. No, and I don't care. Well, I'll use 40 volume. Go ahead. We showed swatches in class that Dustin did. We had a 6N that we applied 10, 20, 30, and 40 volume to. They all look just about the same. Is there a little bit of difference? Yeah. Is there a lot of difference? No. The difference is the closer you stay to the level of the hair that did not yet turn gray, the more success you will have if you're just starting. Here's what a chemist in a lab does when they're testing color. Let's say that Annie calls them up and she said, in Artego, I want to create a 6G, level 6. And they say, okay, Annie, level 6, we're going to call dark blonde. Yeah, okay, we're going to call that. Okay, we all agree you want it to be a level 6, right? Yes. So here's what they do. They use 100% white hair, not bleached, white. And they used to get it from the Piedmont area of Italy, where people have albinism, when they're like, remember this rock group, Johnny Winter and his brother, and they all had white hair, they were albino people? Albinos yield the perfect result in discovering level. Why? The hair has no level. It has a cuticle, a cortex, and a medulla that is pigment-free. So they get this Piedmont hair, and I've had the opportunity to work on it. It was one of the honors of my life. Okay, so they take the level 6 color, they mix it with 20 volume, They put it on foil, they put the color on the foil, then they smash the swatch on the foil, then they cover the hair again with more product, then they really smush it around and they cover it. 10 minutes later, they open it and make sure every hair is covered. They let it sit at room temperature for 45 minutes. At the end of 45 minutes, they make their assistant take it to the sink, rinse it, shampoo it, condition it, and dry it, and iron it. Then they put it under a Hunter spectrophotometer, which, as Buddy knows, measures absorption and reflection of light. And all chemists and our fine chemists at Artego have this machine. When this machine says, yes, you've achieved a level 6's absorption and reflection of light, the chemist will call you and go, hey, guess what? Annie, we're going to send you this swatch. We think you're going to like it. They stick it in the mail. They send it to you. You approve it. The chemist says this is a level 6. It doesn't mean that it's going to make everybody in the world a level 6. A level 6 is when it makes white hair a level 6. A level 2 is when it makes white hair a level 2. I had a wonderful lunch with the incredible Randy Rick one day in Philadelphia about 5 years ago. I went to teach and a lady said, there's someone who wants to meet you and I think you want to meet them. And it's Randy Rick, who was probably 80 something years old. And he had his Ren colors and all that stuff. He said, here's a good thing to teach, Beth, and it's absolutely true. And a level 8 color is 80% lift and 20% deposit of tone. A level 4 color is 60% deposit of tone and 4% lifting action. Isn't that great? You're not great. You don't like that, Annie?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
So, okay. So when you come to class and I go on and on for hours all day about this, people get into it. Then we start putting it on hair. If we have time, we were going to do swatches in Chicago. They were with me. We ran out of time because I had extra models. But I think I love doing swatches, but it kind of is an all-day thing. Here's what happens. People love to see me and them do hair that always turns out, right? So if something turns out in class, you write the formula down and then you're not scared. That's why I always share with you guys on the Beecher site and on mine, Beth's never fail formulas. And in our Beecher offices, Damien had created a couple sheets called never fail formulas. And those are usually packed into your orders of either Beauty Fusion or Artego, its color, which I find to be an amazing line. And I can't, okay. If any questions yet?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Crystal has a question. Do you recommend a scalp lightener from Artego, and why powder lightener for highlights instead of cream?
Consistency, safety, and conditioning. Lovely Light's cream lightener is like the bomb. It lightens beautifully, it glides on, it doesn't puff up or swell, and it doesn't cost that much. I think it's $59 for a pack of it instead of other brands that are $87 now. Okay. And you can use this for highlights in the hair shaft as well. Powder lightener, and I know Goldwell and others are using powders at the scalp. If you want to do that, fine. I don't like that. Powder lighteners have a higher pH than cream lighteners. You have a chance of irritating the scalp so that the woman asks to be rinsed sooner than she needs to be. They're gritty. They do dry out more. And they have to be put on with a bowl and a brush. If you are doing a pinpoint 3 or 4 week retouch of bleach, it is better that you use an applicator bottle and be able to squirt that like you're frosting a cake right on their head. When you use a brush, you're putting it on their head, but when you move your hand away, you're pushing lightener up into the previous, you're creating una problema because the hair's in crappy, not bad, poor condition. So did that help that lady? The Lovely Lights is my favorite. We also make a Max Light and a balayage lightener. I'm going to tell you a little story about my famous friend, Leland Hirsch, who Buddy and I know, who worked with me to make Logix, then created Artec and the Celeb lines. At his famous salon in Long Island called New Best, it was in Roslyn, and he did a highlightings all day long. And he and his partner used nothing but Born Blonde by Clairol cream lightener, even to make them almost white, because he said it was just glided on, never swelled up, and by the way, it would take dark hair to pale yellow. So that's just my thing. I love powder lightener. I use it all the time. But on the scalp, or when I want supposing I wanted to make almost just like, this is the way I make, if somebody has brown hair, but the mids and ends are all like dark and build up, I'll take them, I'll put like a 1/4 ounce of warm water in an applicator with a 1/4 ounce of shampoo, and I mix it up. Then I add 2 ounces of 5-volume developer and 1 ounce of Lovely Lights cream, mix it up. I'm making a bleach shampoo. They used to call it a champagne cocktail or a French fluff, whatever. Okay, you take them to the sink. Yeah, I know, but anyway, you take them to the sink. You squeeze it all over those yucky dark ends, right? You're wearing gloves, la, la, la. You're there and you're just watching that gook come off. Maybe it takes 4 minutes, maybe it takes 10. Then you rinse like crazy, shampoo and condition, and that black end is gone. That's an extraction, an easy extraction. I hope that's helpful. Did that lady or gentleman
She
find?
said, thank you. That was very helpful.
Good.
All right, now Charles Dudley made a comment on the developers. Said 10 volume minimal lift, 20 volume standard lift, 30 volume additional lift, and 40 volume maximum lift, period.
That's true, but I just wouldn't ever use, but you have to be careful when you, buddy, it's perfect, but you're too smart because when they want maximum lift and mix it with a level 4, see, they don't take into, you know what here's the thing, you said exactly the right thing. And that's probably what L'Oreal and other people teach, and it's right. Minimal lift, standard lift, a little more, the most. But again, there are people who think that if they want to gently tone hair to gold, let's supposing a woman comes in with brunette hair and a pale frosting. I hate that word. And she wants them to be golder. So the person goes, oh, they'd like their hair to have a little lift and they'd like the highlights to turn a soft golden. So they'll mix a level 10 gold with 10 volume developer and apply it to the brown hair with the highlights. Now, you would think nobody would do that. But here's what they told. 10 volume, minimal lift. What he's saying is right for a smart person, as long as that smart person is realizing the developer is the gasoline that fuels the motor. The motor is the level of the color. Level 2 is like a Volkswagen. Level 10 is like a Beamer and level 12 is a Ferrari, which I got to drive at one time, but we won't get into that. Okay. And buddy, you're right. I'm teaching, when I taught a lady the other day who's been doing this 15 years and didn't understand that permanent color can lift. So she bleaches everybody and then dyes their hair. And I said, you're working so hard. And she said, well, the reason I'm here is I want to learn. I don't know anything.
Well,
Free bleached everybody. Now, in days of old, John Gunther used to teach if a woman wanted to be ash brown with no red, and they used to do this. They used to take brunette hair, bleach it to yellow, and then use an ash brown on top of it. Honey, it was ash. Yeah. But then you better put her on big rollers, put them under the dryer, give them a couple glasses of wine, and then backcomb the crap out of it, you know?
all
Okay.
right, here's somebody. Lisa wants, would you please repeat the formula for the dark ends?
Okay. Okay. Do you have a piece of paper, honey? Got to get paper and pencil. Get a bottle and put like a 1/4 ounce of warm water in it and a 1/4 ounce of anybody's shampoo. Shake the bottle around. Pour in 2 ounces of 5 volume developer. I hope you have Oxy Milk 5 volume. And 1 ounce of Lovely Lights cream bleach. Now I get the end of a comb and I shake it together with the end of the comb first in the bottle. Or you can use a bowl, doesn't matter. And then I shake it and it makes foam. It makes what we used to call a champagne cocktail, guys. Okay, you apply it mids to ends on that darkety stuff. Use 2 gloves, take her to the sink, really massage it, maybe add a little water. It makes it all sudsy and nice. And you're going to watch that blackety, greeny yuckiness go away.
Wait.
And we do this in class sometimes and people go, oh my God, I never knew you could do this. So
Here's another question. Lisa said, thank you. She got it that time. All right. Crystal wants to know, I have one last question. What would be your formula for a high lift blonde or a base break?
or a base break?
Yeah.
Okay, if you go on my conversations with colorists, I showed, and Annie has it, I have a lovely neighbor who's naturally a level 5-6. She's blonde and she's been using Feria by L'Oreal light blonde on her hair. So I know the back was an orangey gold. It really was not pretty. So I decided to pre-lighten and tone her. And the first time I did her, I used Lovely Lights in 20. It was on an hour or so. Then I toned her. But here's what then I said to myself, I've got this new Artego color that's called, and I like 13NN. It is a level 13 double neutral. Not a neutral ash, double neutral. I mixed 2 ounces of the Artego 13 double N with 4 ounces of Artego 40 volume developer. And I never I'm always, single's gonna look, I applied it starting in the back because that's where she's a little deeper and her hair's thicker. I applied it vertically I bet you'd love this. I put it on 1/8 of an inch sections. It takes this is not a 2-minute application. I covered all the hair and I applied conditioner to the ends while she was processing. And her hair is so dry, I used the Vieso Argan mask just on the tips. No heat, no plastic caps. We had a glass of wine, we laughed, we watched videos for 1 hour. At the end of 1 hour, I took her to the sink and I rinsed the hair till the water ran clear. I used the Vieso Argan Oil shampoo and conditioner. It is on. Anna, you saw it. I
Yeah,
think
it was incredible.
it looks like I pre-bleached and toned that hair. Now, in the back where she had the brown, her natural root, that level 5-6, of course, I used my hand and then a little brush to push it into that orange band, right? To get rid. She's a miracle. And she went to work at a lovely country club here in Houston the next day, and nobody could believe it. Buddy, I even set this hair. I set that hair. I don't.
And he just said, I have never seen lift like that. Amazing. It was gorgeous.
It is, and
was.
it's lift and tone. So, okay, I don't care if you use L'Oreal, Wella, Schwarzkopf, Clairol, whatever. If you go and call Annie and get, or Elisa or Damien or whoever, any of your people at Artego, order yourself it's a 3-ounce tube for only $7.95. Come on, 3 big ounce. Okay, and I'm a pill. I don't like anything. You mix this, 1 ounce of color with 2 ounces of 40, 2 ounces of color with 4 ounces, but you must leave it on for 1 hour. I don't want to hear about anybody putting it under heat. I don't want to see a person. I've seen people put color on and I almost had to go throw up because they don't know how to apply color. They do big wads. 1/8 of an inch sections. Make sure you cover everything. Annie, this stuff is like Jesus. Oh, sorry. It's great. And if I don't like it, you will know.
Yes. And we have extra blonding if you even need an extra level lift.
Yeah, but I did. You know what?
Yes.
You're right. However, don't do that with them until they use this first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't want to get them
Now
there too
people
fast.
get confused and oh my God, they get confused. I had a class where I explained a way I do a butterfly foil, which I bring to the end and I don't backcomb it, but I fan out the ends and I just do little butterflies at the end and the foil looks like a triangle, right? I've taught this for years. It's called butterfly, butterfly, butterfly. During the same class, I had a wonderful book I showed, which was how to treat people with charm.
Yeah.
And it was written by a butler because his job is to be how to take their coat, how to say hello, how to shake hands, how to give somebody a glass of iced tea, how to give them a cup of coffee. The things our mothers taught us, right? Okay. It was called The Art of Butlering.
Oh, no. I know where you're going with this one.
Call the salon. Yeah. Call the salon next week. I want to know how Beth butlers their hair. Yeah, I see. You know what? And I guess too much information on one day. I should have kept the butlering book for another day.
All right, well, here's a question. What are the easiest color changes to create and why?
I think the easiest one to do is when a blonde tells you she wants to go darker, because you got to be smart. The worst thing you can do is dump something even 1 millimeter darker globally. The easiest things to do is to take an opaque or slightly alkaline demi-cream like Beauty Fusion. Some people have used Wella Color Touch or Richez. I love Beauty Fusion. And I want you to low light her hair with a level, like a level 10 or 9 or 8 in little tiny weaves. Don't do any on the part line and don't do any at the face frame, but you're going to do a lot. And you know how I zigzag or I work around the head in a radial fashion so things flow, because a lot of this is, all low lights do not have to go roots to ends. Some can go roots to half, roots to 3/4, only a quarter, so that you get a myriad of moving shade in the hair. After you wrap the last foil, let the person sit for 30 minutes at room temperature. Shampoo them. If she's a light blonde, I use Lola Almond conditioner at the sink for 5 minutes. If she wants to be a deep, deep blonde, I'll mix the almond with the caramel Lola for 5 minutes at the sink, and she is deeper. But remember, if she's been blonde for 5 minutes, 5 years, 5 months, that blonde hair is her friend. And she says she wants to make it deeper. Okay, once you deepen the whole thing and you've given her a beautiful mid-blonde hair, she starts to cry and says, my hair's black. It happens all the time.
All the time.
Or they go home and they go, my husband thinks my hair's red. My husband thinks, okay, and they're crying. Good luck trying to remove that, because when you remove it globally, the hair will generally lighten warmer. Then she's going to be unhappy and it's dry and all that stuff. I hope that helps. Come to class, everybody. I'm teaching in Detroit and I'm teaching in Bend, Oregon. And this fall, hopefully, I'll be teaching some more classes. I need 30 people who each pay free $2.99 for the day, lunch, diploma, the whole shooting match. Right, Annie?
Yes. I had 4 people in Chicago. One who I never would have expected to have attended just blew me away. They loved it. I mean, absolutely are raving about what they learned.
Well, we had a fun day. We really did. We
It
had a fun-
sounded like it.
Yeah, lovely salon. The owner, Beth, has Epoch Salon, and it was just beautiful. It's a long day, but a good one. And your brother Jay attended, and his granddaughter was my little blonde highlight model.
I heard that. I
My little
heard
tennis
that.
player,
We
yeah.
like to keep it in the family.
And you know what I did? I used Lovely Lights cream with 20 volume to bring her up blonde on her whole head.
Ah,
And she came up, and when she was a baby, she had red hair. So I was going to use the 13 double N, and I said, you know, this needs, remember guys, ammonium persulfate, which is bleach, is the only thing that can destroy pheomelanin, which is the yellow, warm, gold pigment in the hair. You can make the hair light, but if there's a lot of pheomelanin in that cortex, you can't dissolve it unless you dissolve it with bleach.
no.
So we've got about what, 3 or 4 more minutes?
Yes. So what are the most difficult, not always 100% achievable color change requests?
If they're Hawaiian, have black dyed hair down to their shoulders and they want to be white. Not today. They can go buy a wig. The other one that I will, now I shouldn't say this, but again, I will. There's a gentleman who is of fine reputation. He has a salon in Beverly Hills, and he says that when you want to go gray, you come on in and he'll make you gray in 1 day. Well, that works sometimes, and sometimes that doesn't work. And when you're working on very big movie stars who've gone to other salons for years and now want to go silver, you have to be careful. Okay. So without naming all names, I will ask you to look at the current cover of a magazine for which I was a contributing editor called New Beauty, and I was their consulting color person. On the cover is the gorgeous Andie MacDowell.
Oh, I love her.
So do I. I'm a little upset. Okay, so they say it's, and her hair is, she always had fab hair, super
Yes.
wavy. Okay, so I know a little story, and I'm not going to tell you the whole story. She decided that she was getting gray, and she decided I'll just go with it. Well, and if I had a client like that, what I do it all the time, is I start and I highlight them highly all over that brown hair. Of course, I do a little test, like I talked, extraction. Usually, if you can't get it too light, you at least get it to a golden, or and you can make it a lighter brown, but we're not going to talk. Okay, so let's pretend we take this person in their hair, and if their hair is super wavy, I iron it first, not for style, but then I can get the foil exactly where I want to put it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I have an assistant do that, but now Aunt Beth has to do this alone, and she's not a happy girl. Okay, so you mix powder and 40 or whatever, and you start. Oh, and I start around the face because I might not be able to get through, and I start foil wrapping, and I don't go down to the root. I kind of go close to the root. And remember this, guys, the less amount of hair you put in foil, the higher the lift you're going to get. Then I pre-lighten those strands. And in Ortega, in Beauty Fusion, we have a shade called 9.11, which is super, super double blue level 9. After I bring that up to pale yellow, I tone them with 2 ounces of 911 and 2 ounces of 5 volume Annie on damp hair. I leave it for 15 minutes. That hair is now silver. Okay, now you can do, if you have time and an assistant, you can do more, the whole head, whatever. So she goes to this person who says that this person can make the entire head silver in 1 day. Something is applied globally. Of course, she now has yellow close to the scalp, gold mid ends, and orange at the tips. She departs. She goes to another salon, which is operated by one of the best colorists in the world. And on the cover of New Beauty, that hair is gorgeous. So they say to her, your hair is, I know you're so tired of people telling you your color is so beautiful. What do you do to color your hair? And she answered, I don't color my hair. Now that's true because that's the present tense. Am I right?
Yep.
I do not color my hair today. I do not color my hair currently. The beautiful shade that she is showing was salon created. So she doesn't color her hair. That's a true statement. She didn't lie. That's true. She doesn't color her hair. Also, if Buddy or any of our viewers today colored my hair, and someone says, Beth, do you color your hair? I could say no. You know why? I didn't do it. There's a trial going on today, which I will not mention. But what's the truth? Anyway, so I always love doing these, Annie, and I hope everybody, this just gets the conversation going. We could go all day.
Yes.
So Beauty Fusion, Ortega, some of our wonderful lighteners, and this Lola conditioner, I think is, they're game changers and the price is right. And that doesn't mean you should, I don't ask people to switch anything, but I sure do ask them to include and then come to class. I am here for you. You have my phone number. You have my email address. You have how to reach me at Ortega through Annie and Alan and Jay. You have my Facebook group and you have my website, which is $2.08 a month. Aside from my daughter, my friends, my kitty cats, and my plants, hair color's my thing, baby, and my clients. So I love you all. And I thank you.
Thank you, Beth.
Thanks.
This is great.
Yeah. So tell Alan I said hi, okay?
I will.
And make sure, and Buddy, I love it. Make sure that people who couldn't watch today, because Nicholas will help us, get the link so they can watch it when they feel like it.
It will be on YouTube. And don't forget, Beth, We'll be in the Detroit area, in Birmingham, Michigan on April 29th.
And I'm opening it up to 9 more people.
Okay, so if
Yeah,
anybody
and it's all
wants to
day, the
fly in,
29th, in a nice area called Birmingham. We're gonna have fun. You call Elisa or Annie and they'll hook you up.
yep, we'll get you in.
Buddy, enjoy Naples. Go to the beach. I love you all. Nicholas, thank you, honey.
Thank you. Thank you, Beth.
Arrivederci. And
Bye-bye.
dream,
Take
always
care.
dream it, always dream. Don't have a nightmare, dream in color. Bye, guys. Love.
Are we good, Nick?
We're good.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.